Hey everybody, welcome to today's update on Daily IoT. On today's episode, I want to talk about continuing this theme of maker to product. Everything I'm thinking about now is sort of in this context of what I could share on the channel that I think would be valuable. Not just so much documenting the journey, which I want to continue to do, but talking specifically about how this journey to making a product is very different from being a maker. And today I want to talk about this idea of self-funding and being the little fish, not even a fish, like a, what do you call the little frog things? Tadpole in a giant ocean of much bigger fish, and how that limits your ability, not only being a small player, but also having very little money, how that limits how quickly you can get things done. And I'm experiencing this quite a bit as I'm reaching out to get quotes and things. You know, when you're talking about runs of 100, even 1,000, you're nobody. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about 100 units of a hockey puck or 1,000 units of a hockey puck. We live in a world where people want to hear 100,000, 500,000, a million units. And if you're not coming with that kind of demand, you're at the bottom of the list of people that they care about. And that's totally fine. Like, I don't look at that and say like, oh, well, that's not fair. It's like I tell my kids, life's not fair. I mean, I wouldn't pay attention to me either, because there's much more money to be made on much bigger customers. And so this is in everything from PCB fabrication to assembly, and just reaching out and, hey, can I get this? And can I get a quote? You said you were gonna give me a quote, and it's like 4 days later, and it's like, oh yeah, we're still working on it. Not really, right? I'm just way down their list. And so that's just the reality of being a small player. And you just have to plan for it. Like I said, this isn't a rant to complain about how life isn't fair. This is just something to be aware of, that if you're not coming in with major VC money and going to these shops and saying, hey, listen, I've got money to give you, like, put me higher on the list, you're just gonna be at the bottom of the list. And so that's something that it's an expectation you should have going in, that if you're bootstrapping and self-funding and doing small runs, which I believe in, like, you should start there. Don't mortgage your entire life and your 401k to build something if you're not sure about it, which is why I'm taking the approach of doing just 100 for now. And so, again, just going with that expectation can help you not get so disappointed, like, why aren't people getting back to me? They're not getting back to you because you're not important yet, right? Now, if you get to the point where you're making 500,000 units, a million units, well, then you're gonna have much better relationships with all of these people, because you're more important to them. And so just something to consider, and not something that you have to deal with at all as a maker. You versus the guy at NASA who's ordering parts from SparkFun or Adafruit, you're the same. You're the same person. You get processed through their queue, and they put it in the box and deliver it to you. They don't care if you're from Microsoft or Google or just some guy in Texas. You're treated the same. And so as a maker, you don't have those same issues as you're going through certain processes of, acquiring parts, OSH Park or OSH Park, I've heard people say. I'm not really sure which way you pronounce it, but things like that, where you're using internet services for PCB and you're not trying to deal with other bigger players or things like that. And so, but again, you're dealing with lower quantities, so you don't need some of the abilities that some of these bigger shops bring to you in those cases. And so just a difference to be aware of, and it's something that I've experienced quite a few times in this process, and actually has made me appreciate so much more. I'm gonna sing Agility's praises here for a second. Somebody like Agility looking at me and my situation, my project, and being like, hey, let's collaborate and work on this together and see what we can do. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, we had fun doing it together. And so as much as you can, I would encourage you, and this is something that I'm trying to do more of, is when you're just starting out and you're small and you're just trying to prove an idea and get it out there, you do your best to find people that are in that journey with you, that are there more for the journey and the relationship than they are for the dollars. And that's hard, because the world revolves around companies making money and a profit. But there's lots of people out there, and you might find somebody, like in my case, I need to be looking maybe more at assembly houses and fab houses that maybe have an interest in hockey. Like the owner is like a huge hockey fan, and is like, listen, I want to help this guy. Like, I'm the boss, and I don't care that we have bigger customers. This guy is fun, and I want to help him. Like, things like that. Like, don't just sit there and say like, oh, life's not fair, it's no fun because nobody cares about me. find different ways to hack that system in your favor. And so that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. Got something in my eye. Question of the day. I said it earlier, OSH Park or OSH Park. This is the PCB fabrication service you can do online. How do you pronounce it? Is it OSH Park? Is it OSH Park? Stick it in the comments below. Would love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching Daily IoT, the show where together we're learning how to make the Internet of Things one day at a time.